I'm Neil, the Confident Contractor, where I talk about compliance, contracts, cash flow, and confidence. And today we are talking contracts. So, what's important about contracts? Well, a contract is a legally binding agreement. Agreement being something with somebody else. And the contract states the rights and obligations, abilities of the contracts. This is mainly mitigate risks, prevent misunderstandings. So let's have a discussion before we start whatever the project is, and we can talk about things about project stuff and agree it beforehand. So let's get into meat a bit more. So the new thing is going to be some Q&As. So LinkedIn Live doesn't make Q&A very easy, but I found a thing. So we'll see how this works. I'm expecting and accepting questions either. We go along to that URL, and you should be able to type some questions in as we go, and then when we get to which will be about 10 minutes or something, we'll go through those questions and see. Anyway, back onto the thing. So, a contract. A contract is made up of a few things, and these things, key elements. There's also stages of contract negotiation, but so the key elements in a contract are the parties involved, usually just the two of you in the contract. The person wanting to procure your services and you providing your parties. The terms and conditions in that contract, so that can just be the things that you expect. And one might be, you want me to service and I agree that I service. Likewise from their side, it might be that I will invoice you and then pay the invoice. That really. The next key element is the scope of work. What is service that as a provider I will be delivering to the customer, and what you expect for you. Scope of work can amount of that work to take over 3-month contract. Is it specific deliverable, so the time isn't really mentioned much? Always a good idea to have some sort of time constraint, even if you're before or after that contract. Whilst it just writes down what the understanding is, you can say and but if you're going to say that, you're going to within the add clarity to it. Another key element, of course, is the price and payment. So the price being the consideration that you expect to receive after during delivery, and the payment is therefore arguably the most important bit after you've delivered your consideration, your bank account, and another key element of a contract is a termination. So at some point, the contract starts, therefore come to, and it might be a natural end, in which case the contract is perhaps delivered. Time frame. Might be other reasons. Delivery of product, don't love you anymore, or oh, you forgot to pay me, therefore I contract. Those sort of things can be in there so that everyone's clear on what happened periods of time. There's also going to be some legal terminology. So we've got stuff. Legal terms. Examples include indemnification. That's a really long word. That means if something happened, whether somebody or somebody else's happens, result of not be. So, as a professional provider of services, I have professional indemnification against certain. I will deliver a thing to you, and my professional insurance will cover me in case something is wrong with that. Think of an example, but let's say if you're in software development, bug gets created, filling the world, creating software creates bugs. Got tests that catch the majority of the bugs. Some of the bugs get tested by phase. Some of the bugs even get it into the end product, and some bugs don't get. So you can say I'm indemnified against something I wrote. There's a bug. Don't discover it for years. I'm no longer patient. Legal terms can also cover confidentiality. So several things can be confidential. I mean, the agreement itself can't be confidential. But you can say, I'm providing services to you, but I need about your customer will say, well, that's fine. That stuff confidential. We will tell you what it is because service, but you can't tell anybody else. Likewise, supplier I might have that I don't customer share. Let's say that I've got some AP developed services, and it happens to be private Git code that's been written, being it's private, so public can't. But the customer would like access to some of that help deliver services. But we've got a clause in there that says, yeah, we'll share that with you. You must keep share it. Essential, sharing the other. So an important part of signing, if you like, of the contract is due diligence. The parties. And that's been written up. Then you want to make sure that what's down is what you feel that does the match intention. Do the words match? And as well as that, reviewing the terms and conditions is very important before you sign it. Don't sign anything. Now, investigate the reputation and reliability of the other parties. Are they liable? Two areas. One is send them an invoice. What is their the businesses, like people, credit check out on them, which will at least tell you that they've got the money invoice. Won't necessarily going to pay the patient. and therefore their reputation matters. Damaging. Give you an indication maybe that bear in mind they're going to be doing what is your reputation about delivering. What is your reputation? Two-way street, both of you happy, trust. So let's skip a little bit to the front end. That was very much on the back end. Effective negotiation. Well, the first thing is to prepare. What do I mean by prepare? Agree to. About this beforehand. Negotiation. That moment of clarity for the negotiation. What am I talking about? I'm talking about stuff. What is minimum day rate except charge a day rate? What's the maximum number of hours devote to? They want time from you. They might say, hey, we just need you for a morning. Okay, that was good. Might then say, oh, I need you for days a week. What? Saturday. Is that something? Decide beforehand. You know, if you can do that. Some contracts even 7 days a week. Some say you need to be on call 7 days a week, but we only actually pay you for the. All these variables, good to have a clear sense of what. Also, by preparing, and what's their product, help them. Why are they particularly interested? And this will lead into negotiating. Of course, you should also focus on a win-win. They've chosen to work with you, and you've chosen to speak with. Get what the win-win situation. You don't want to end up in a situation perhaps one of you has taken advantage of the other one. So when you're in the negotiation, you need to communicate clearly. Now there are negotiation training courses. I went on one. In fact, I think it was a mandatory module for players or something. Two of them in the room with me. And so the task was, you need to buy oranges. You need the orange to do something clever. And you were negotiating with someone else asked to buy oranges. Now the task goes that if you communicate well enough with each other, say, well, I want orange juice. Turns out the other party wanted the orange for the. Therefore, you could both buy oranges and get separate bits from it and work collaboratively together. Not only does this mean that you communicate clearly purposes, you can also work collaboratively. This is why it's important to they want communicate that, and part of that can be flexible. Be flexible. Maybe the customer wants you to have those 6 days, but actually no, they want to say in the contract that you're available for. That's only going to be 6 days. Maybe you can renegotiate so that it's like Red flags to watch out for. So vague terms, I mentioned this earlier. Contract can have some flexibility in it, but even within that flexibility, you want to clearly understand what you mean by that flexibility. Also, be aware of one-sided heavily favour the other party. The contract must be fair in order for it to be legal. If it's unfair, legally challenged, therefore annulled entirely. And finally, when you're reviewing the terms of the contract, you want to highlight any discrepancies. And those are the things where your understanding is one thing, but the words say something. And you want to cover that not by being vague, but by being exact what you expect. Now, once you've signed the contract, you've documented any amendments, you might need to issue it and re-sign it. But you want to maintain detailed records. Revisions of the contract might be nice to keep, because then you can track the course of the negotiation. This got changed, that. And so by keeping those records, it can help you when you negotiate next time. And as always, seeking legal advice is always a good thing to do. When in doubt, seek it from a qualified lawyer, where they can review the contracts, warn you of any sort of discrepancies in there, and you're forearmed, you're forewarned, right? This goes for any contract. I mean, if you're buying a house or a flat, then lots of things that can be in the detail. Buying a business, selling a business, again, lots of things in the detail. So I hope that's not put you off at anything, but just giving you some more information that you need to know when you're considering contracting. Are you ready for contracting? We've got a little quiz that you can do. It'll tell you whether you are ready or not. The link will be in the comments below. And I hope we can come together and get contracting if that's the choice you want to do.